Okay, from the Holy Grail of Wisdom Quotes by me, Pete Rogers, in alphabetical order. We're doing quotes. First, Walt Whitman. So Walt Whitman was an American poet, and I really don't like him that much. I don't think he's that good of a poet, but he did write one great poem, "Oh Captain, My Captain." And it was about Abe Lincoln, the death of Abe Lincoln. Now, Lincoln was the biggest a-hole. He was one of the worst presidents ever in the history of the United States. If you actually study his life and what he actually did, you will hate the guy. The best guy about him, who wrote a book about him, I think was Lorenzo. I made a video about it. He wasn't trying to help the blacks. He wasn't trying to help anybody. He was a thief. He just wanted to rip off the South and raise their tariffs. And then he said, if you don't pay me the tariffs, I'm just going to come in there and brutalize you. And that's what he did. Then later on, he tried to pretend he was going to try to help the black people. He didn't care about black people. He wanted to deport all of them, okay? He was actually in societies that were trying to deport all the black people out of the United States. He was no friend of the blacks. He just wanted to rip off the South. That's what it came down to. And he killed tons of people for no reason. And he's popular because, with the modern secular rulers, because he was helping to centralize everything. Tyrants always want to centralize everything. And he was big on that. Okay, next we'll do the poet John Greenleaf Whittier. He was an American poet. He's also a Quaker, pretty religious guy. Back when I was a young guy, the schools, the grade schools, were all named after these American religious poets. Guys like John Greenleaf Whittier and all these other poets and writers, Nathaniel Hawthorne, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Oliver Wendell Holmes. These were the schools. America used to have pride in itself. It didn't really have that much of a history yet, much of a literary history, intellectual history, but it was proud of itself. Now America, because of the secular rulers from above trying to destroy the place, they try to make everybody ashamed of America. It's a totally different story from when I was growing up. And it was a lot better when I was growing up. Okay, John Greenleaf Whittier, he says, somehow not only for Christmas, but all the long year through, the joy you give to others is the joy that comes back to you. Better heresy of doctrine than heresy of heart. It's like Jesus said, the spirit of the law is more important than the letter of the law. When faith is lost, when honor dies, the man is dead. The smile of God is victory. Beauty seen is never lost. God's colors all are fast. And I can tell you, Christianity does so many beautiful things, especially Catholic version of Christianity. And I saw it in my mother. My mother was the best person who I ever saw in my whole life. She would go around doing nice things for person after person, adopting orphan kids, working on the board of directors of orphans. We used to have these big parties at our house with over 100 people there, and my mom would go around and know everybody and make sure everybody had a good time. Somebody's a wallflower, she'd pull them off the wall, get them to talk to somebody who was a good match for them. She knew how to do it. I just saw how she lived, and she was always cracking jokes. Often very vulgar, but funny and nice. And she always did the right thing, no matter what the rules were. Anyways, that's how a person should be. Beauty, okay, let's see next. For all the sad words of tongue or pen, the saddest of these is, it might have been. The Indian summer of the heart. Okay, next one line from Albert Edward Wiggam. He was a psychologist and he was a eugenicist. And here's what I think is funny. Everybody likes to say, oh, the Germans in the 1930s were so bad. Where do you think the Germans got those ideas? The Germans got those ideas from the British and from the Americans. The Americans were mandatorily, involuntarily sterilizing lots of people. And then other countries got the idea from them, okay? And then it was from England with all the Darwinism, and then, you know, the guys that came after Darwin, like Galton and whatnot. Hey, we need eugenics, just like people do with farm animals. That's how we got to treat the citizens. We got to, you know, minimize the breeding of all these stupid idiots. So that's where it all came from, England and the USA. And then they were embarrassed of it after the 1930s, but that's where it came from, was Britain and the USA, all this involuntary sterilization of people. Okay, just a few brief words. Oh, well, here's the quote from Edward Wiggam. He says, intelligence appears to be the thing that enables a man to get along without education. Education enables a man to get along without the use of intelligence. There's a lot of truth in that. Lady Jane Wilde was the mother of Oscar Wilde. She herself was a poet. She had a pen name Esperanza, like hope. And she was a big Irish patriot, wanted Ireland to be free of British control. And here's one of her poems about she lived through the Irish famine, which was a disgrace. The British intentionally starved the Irish. There was nothing accidental about it. If you know the history and you've studied it in any detail whatsoever, it's pretty obvious. They were trying to bump off as many Irish as possible to take their land and give it away. They brutalized the Irish. They treated them as slaves and worse. It's evil what they did to the Ireland. I studied it in a lot of detail. Okay, anyways, here she goes, her poem. Weary men, what reap ye? Golden corn for the stranger. What sow ye? Human corpses that await the avenger. Stately ships to bear our food away amid the strangers scoffing. There's a proud array of soldiers. What do they round your door? They guard our master's granaries from the thin hands of the poor. Yeah, all the food from Ireland, while they were starving to death, was being shipped out under the supervision of the British. And they'll try to pretend, oh, it was an accident. Oh, BS. There was nothing accidental about it. Okay. Anyways, that's it for today. Next time we'll come back, we'll do Oscar Wilde. I hope you found that helpful.